All right, we're live here on No, what is the YouTube? What's up? Howdy. And let me get the rest of the stuff up, get the room open, and we will get shit rolling here. All right, we're gonna go live on Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Hi, how's it going, Facebook? Okay. Greetings to all. Everything's open. We are a couple minutes before noon, but I've always heard a good meeting starts on time and ends on time, even though we don't really have an end time. And just what I'll share is, and I'll probably hit this more than once. I'm looking at the chat boxes, and you guys will see me do this. Again, I fixed the camera so that I'm looking at y'all, hopefully, throughout this whole process, and everybody's getting a good visual. The camera setup was kind of lame yesterday, was the feedback. Oh, excuse myself. And so I've readjusted this, and I think we're on the right track with that. So we'll see how it goes. But let me know. But like I said, because I've got this going on here, my computer screen is over here. So I'll be glancing occasionally across over here to see if anybody's jumping in the mix. And, if not, then so be it. So far, I don't see any live bodies in here yet, and that's cool. It's the noon hour, right? So, I mean, this is probably might be a very challenging time to do things. So, oh, fuck, why does my computer want to be dumb right now? Now, let's cancel. Sorry. Yeah, oh, don't you get naughty on me. All right. So, okay, you be quiet over there. Checking the chat boxes. Really, what is going on? Oh, that's not cool. Why am I getting feedback? All right, let me shut all of that off. There's some yo. There's some no. All right. Well, guess what? We're just going to start. Anyway, hi, how's it going? We are live again. Real Talk with Keith motherfucking Walker. Here we go again. And so, hey, I appreciate if you are coming into this after the fact. Doesn't matter. What? Oh my God, the coach is already on me. Ugh, it's a habit. All right. We'll see if I can keep my hands busy over here somewhere because the coach is out there lining me out. All right. So, anyway, we're back today. The first pilot run yesterday went off with not too bad of hitches anyway. I mean, there's always good feedback that comes in, and this is going to be a learning process for a little bit and all that kind of stuff. But again, glad you're in here whenever it is that you get in here. And like I said, my eyeballs are going to move a little bit as I got a handful of screens going on. In case anybody pops in or has comments. And so, as it stands, I have one. How's that go? Don't mind me. Again, I'm looking. Yeah, so far I see one participant in the YouTube, and it's me. But I know Pam is watching, and I don't know why I can't. You're on Facebook? Okay, I hear you say Facebook. I hear you hollering, but I can't see you. Are you in? Are you on Facebook Live? Huh. Is anybody else hanging out in there? Can you tell? All right. Well, I can't. Oh, that's so bizarre. Okay. Well, let me see. Don't mind me, guys. I guess we're all going to learn together here. Okay. Okay. Just you. I don't. Well, yeah. I don't. I don't see a participants list. Okay. I don't see anybody else hanging out either. So I guess I can just fart around with this for the moment. Yeah, how interesting. Because I thought yesterday I saw like a list of names off to the side. Hmm. Okay. Well, that being said, we are going to move along on here because, again, this will be available uh, till the end of time. So we are going to, today, we'll see how it goes. We're going to kind of pick up off of where we were yesterday. And we started yesterday kind of on a topic of how did we get here? And I started, a little more direct, like how did we get here in the moment? And, I just had a fan or two kind of, they wanted more. So, and a little deeper and a little more, oh, I don't know. We'll just let it roll how it is. So basically where I'm going to start with today, and again, it's hope I don't lose you all. And this might be more than one show's worth of stuff, but we're going to start with, again, it's part of the introduction, and it's going to be a story of um, how it was, uh, like what happened and where we are now. Uh, Short order. Again, if you don't know me, uh, what I will share is I'm an addict in recovery. I've been clean for like 38 years, like forever, right? And so that means a lot of different stuff, and obviously we'll spend times getting into what all that means. Um, but in short, my story and what that means to me again is I grew up most of my growing up in Southern California. I was a squirrely kid. I was what mom used to call it hyperactive, board in class count, clown, all that kind of stuff. On a personal level, it was a lot of my growing up was just not feeling right. Like something just didn't feel right. Most of the time, something appeared to be a little bit off. Now, I don't have any excuses as to why that was. It wasn't like my growing up was any more challenging than anybody else's. I didn't have a lot of things that I would call traumatic experiences or reasons to end up quote unquote the way I did. But it's part of a great story that when we talk about how people fall into that realm of addiction and all that kind of stuff, is addiction is not picky. And so everybody can be qualified, for lack of a better way to put it. So I don't have any particular excuses. I just know I didn't feel right. And, and I know that literally like somewhere pretty much like the first time I really had experiences um, with getting high, I felt right, at least for a minute. So, I mean, that's the baseline of what that is. Um, it, Not to go into the whole history of what that is, I'll just share a couple odd, stories. Uh, like the first one is first time I got drunk was, see, this is where I knew I was going to be a problem. I didn't know it, but I mean it was going to be very apparent that I was going to be a problem with this. Excuse me, Hello? I hear hollering in the background. Say it again. Type it. Do something, Pam. Hello? What? Ugh, she's killing me out there. Anyway, um, what? Oh, my Lord, have mercy. We're going to figure out how this coaching piece goes before we get done. Keep going where? All right. All right. Yeah, nobody else is in here, so I guess we're okay. Um, you keep interrupting. You're killing me. Anyway, all right. So my first experience getting drunk was criminal at best. I mean, and just that style. So, um, had a couple buddies in the neighborhood, and we had built this really killer fort, which is what we did back in the day. Like kids used to go outside, stuff like that. I was probably 15 or 16 ish, something like that. Anyway, um, so it was nice. We wanted to go spend the night out there. The parents all said no. And so that was unacceptable, right? So we did the deal, right? Came back and said, well, can I go spend the night at my buddy's house? And then my buddy asked if they could spend the night at my house. Yeah. You know how that goes, right? So we're all spending the night at somebody else's house, right? So my folks went out to dinner, and I was going to go spend the night at my buddy's house. And so my buddies came down, and we went through the liquor cabinet and did the whole, swap the clear liquids for other clear liquids kind of thing. And we put together a canteen of vodka, and uh, took that, and we went to the port, basically. And that was the short version of that story. That was my first experience with alcohol, was vodka and water and powdered donuts. Ugh, if you can imagine how nasty that was. And then the whole experience itself was totally unpleasant, right? So there was that, and then there was like the passing out, and then there was the waking up in the morning with a sledgehammer against my skull, right? And so we got up in the morning, and we all felt like shit, right? So, and then we're headed back home, and I see my brother, excuse me, coming across the ball field from where we were, you know, the fort was up in the hills there, and I knew I was fucked, right? And it's like, and we end up getting together, and he's like, "You're in a heap of shit," and so basically, what had happened, of course, is I was borrowing a friend's skateboard. He came over that morning to pick it up. I was not there. They said, "Oh, he's spending the night down at so and so's house." He went over there to go get. Nobody was there, so we all knew that nobody was spending the night at anybody else's house, and so there's that. So, experience one, no bueno. Um, and it would be cool if I could tell you something like, "Oh yeah, I learned my lesson right there, and it was horrible, and I never did that again." Right? Um, Yeah, much. So plenty of experimentation along the way. The stops I'll make along the way is just very simply is that was not a great experience. But shortly thereafter there were other alcohol induced experiences that were much better, obviously. So that continued. I remember vividly the first time I smoked weed and got high was spectacular. Now, that was probably, for me, that's where it came together. Like that experience moment, I was good over at my buddy's house. The same guy, um, one of the same guys. Well, actually, it was both of them, but we were over at one guy's house, and that the drinking happened. So the first weed experience, same crew, right? For me, um, these guys are savvy. I'm not, and but it was hanging out, and it was like the Blizzard of Oz album, and just going, "Fuck yeah, this is the best shit ever." Um, and so and the chase was on, right? And it's always chasing that first experience. And it was the same with meth. First time I did that was spectacular. The chase, acid, on and on, right? So that went on. The chasing, yeah, you can get close and ups and downs and all that good shit. But anyway, that went on for a period of time. I would say by grace of the universe, like my personal experience and using history was pretty short comparatively to most people that I have hung out with. And no, I was a late bloomer and an early finisher. The last time I used was like right before I had turned 23. So that story, whew, let me tell you, after several years of doing really stupid, crazy shit, right, and going through that process. So the story of the last high was one of, okay, I was up for a couple years, and didn't really have anything on the agenda, but somebody showed up and had some acid. Of course, I love that shit. So yeah, I get a little bit of that going on, and we're off to the races again. And so I end up getting separated from everybody, and I'm still looking for something to do, right? So I end up literally hitchhiking over to the next town to go see if I could hook up with a buddy over there. And yeah, short story long, I end up finally, like, I got lost, but I figured out where I was at. But I ended up at my buddy's house, and it was probably between 2 and 3 in the morning. And again, understand, I'm pretty scraggly at this point. I've been up for a few days. I'm on the downside of this acid trip, so I'm running pretty thin. And I tap on his window, the lights are out, and I'm like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to camp out on his porch or whatever. But I tap on the window, the light comes on quick, and it's like, oh shit, look who's up. And so he lets me in, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, whatever. And of course, he's like, first thing he says is, you want to do a line? And I remember this pretty vividly, even decades later, right? That experience, that the voice in my head is just going, no, no, no. Like, all I need to do, like, I need to crash. I just need to get some sleep and eat tomorrow. No, 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 no. And it was almost like an out of body experience. It was quite peculiar. And like, I watched myself say yes. And I'm like, and that is what has been described as when the addict is using against their own will. That's the best way I could describe that. Because again, all I wanted to do was like be safe and go to the voice said yes, and there I am. And so yeah, I do another line, and we're off at the races. And it was again, this is part of what that story process was. Like, something snapped up here apparently, and I feel like I probably lost my mind there for a while. It was the next day and a half or so was really fragmented. What I can recall out of it again is just the, the mega. It was running. The committee was on full speed, and just the voices, the talking, the this, the that. Not being able to shut down my brain, and people came, people went. There was different sessions happening throughout at this guy's house over that period of time. And what I can recall is people would be there, and I would be, I don't know, I like, in short, I basically just like barfed my life story and just copped to everything, and just like, I don't have any friends. I just have people that fucking get high and people that get me high and this and that. And just like, there was a clarity through that process. Interestingly enough, though, nobody reacted. Like, I'm pretty sure I was just a mumbling fool because nobody said, "You're a fucking asshole. What do you do?" Like, nobody reacted to what I was saying in a way that you would expect them to react. And um, so, okay, nobody there either. Yeah. So it was nuts. Well, what finally happened is after that period of time, I finally got a ride home. So I end up home, and can't get in the house. It's all locked up because I'm the bad kid, right? And so I'm hanging out in the backyard, and I'm just gonna crash in the backyard because it's safe, and it's Southern California and it's warm. So I camp in the lawn chair, and I see a light come on inside finally, and it's my brother. And I tap on the back window, and he comes and he lets me in, and I'm just like, oh fuck, thanks, dude. And he's looking at me like I just unlocked the back door. Well, the short piece of that is he was coming home from an AA meeting. Like, he had sobered up a year and a half before this. So he's in the program, and he's been watching his older brother act a douchebag, right, for this period of time. But he lets me in. And so I get into my bedroom, and I'm like, safe. Like, the voices relax a little bit, but my perspective of like totally being mad and have lost my mind are relaxing a little bit. I'm back to reality somewhat. So and again, I was familiar with 12-step stuff and program stuff and rehab and all that shit. Wasn't my gig, but here I was. And, it was, like I said, that last day and a half was sheer madness. And I did not know if I was going to come back or not. Like, I'd lost my mind. Um, and I wasn't sure what was real or not. And it was not a great place to be, right? So I did kind of, the typical routine, but, something was different. And so you make your deal with God or the universe or the ceiling or whatever the fuck it is, right? And so I did what, I don't know, I saw on TV, what I figured was appropriate. And so I get down on my knees next to the bed, and I'm just like, you know, I cut the deal. Finally, the real deal with God or whatever's out there, right? And I just said, I'm going to go to a meeting tomorrow, and this shit's going to work, or I'm going to leave the meeting and I'm going to step off the curb in front of the bus as it comes by to pick people up. And I meant it. And because there was that part of me is just like, I've lost my shit. I'm not going to do this for 50 more years. Like, I cannot live in here for 50 years like this. Like, fuck that. I'll take my chances with the universe if I check out. Right. And so it was it was interesting. And I paint pictures, and just so I can operate with stuff. And I make shit up half the time, and I don't know. But so my vision of what happened in that moment when I just said I'm going to check out is I have this visual of like this long table, and there's God and there's all the angels, right? And they're just like they're peering over the edge of the table at all of us fucking freak show down here on the rock, planet Earth, right? And they're cackling and laughing. It's like, like a walker, he's all fucked up, like this. And I just kind of picture God sitting there going, you know what, fellas? I think he's serious, and I have work for him to do. And so at that moment, at least for me, I didn't see that in the moment. That's just a picture I put together. But when I made my cry out to the heavens that I was going to check out, um, there was a stillness, and it was odd. I didn't quite wrap my head around it at the time, but there was a stillness. I got into bed, and I had the first good night's sleep I'd had in fuck who knows how long, right through this process. Um, and again, I wasn't aware really of what had happened here until later, obviously. But I went to bed. I had the sleep. I got up the next morning, took a shower, got something to eat, headed out to the curb, fucking got my ride across town to this AA noon meeting. And again, I'd been introduced to program stuff before and all that kind of stuff. So I knew where to go. So I get there, I show up, I sit through this meeting. I see a guy that I recognize from meetings before. And after the meeting, I do the challenge thing, and I went up and I said, "Hey, I need a sponsor," and he's like, "Okay." And I mean, that's my story, right? I mean, I've not drank or used since, and so we can say, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for what that is, but that's my story. So, um, but I have found out a lot, obviously, about how I got into that mess in the first place, how people get into that mess, and then again, it's like I built a program, and I've worked in a profession for decades now in how to maneuver with your addictions and be successful after that. So those are, I mean, I could go, obviously, the storyline goes for hours, right? We're talking about a lifetime of experience that we will not do all today, obviously. But this, again, this is the introduction. Like, how did I get into this chair right here, right now? This is the process that brought us to this point. And so the mission of any, obviously is a, a lot of people are struggling. There's a myriad of tools in the toolbox to help us all as human beings maneuver on this rock. I've been graced, you know, with the experience and the knowledge and the education and yada, yada, yada to have some of that. So I'm here sharing that. And I do that. I shared this the other night with this doc friend of ours that I'm doing the other podcast with and going to be doing some actual business work with. she's putting together a facility. But we were talking, and as we were filtering through our podcast off each other and how things went, um, I had the opportunity to talk about my gratitude, uh, and the story I have with it. And we were talking about gratitude lists and daily, rituals and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. And I shared with her because it's a true statement. And the story goes like this: I have no business being here right now. I was a hope to die. Like we were all fucking gonna die by 25, right? I mean, that was the deal. Yeah, that was cool. And, um, and I knew I was gonna die a slow, miserable death as a result of all what this is. And I've been great. Like, I should have not made it out of the 80s. Car wreck, flipped over, drug deal gone bad, fucking bad sack of whatever the fuck, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways to exit um, in that lifestyle. And somehow, because I know people who did, like I know people who didn't make it out of the 80s, and so why did I? Fuck, I don't know. I mean, to punish you right now, I don't know. Am I here to torment? I often sarcastically say, um, I'm working with God and I'm here to teach you all acceptance. I mean, this is why I'm in your life, is to see. Anyway, but the point being is that I recognize that I am here, and that is grace of the universe. Like I said, I have no business being here, yet here I am. So, I mean, literally every day since that day, there is an acknowledgement between me and the mirror and the man upstairs, or however you want to do it. Like, I know it's a gift that I am here today. And I maneuver as such. And so the gratitude that comes with that is, I mean, it's all in, like, again, it's like I'm here to play, right? And every day it's a gift that I'm here. So I'm sharing it. I mean, it's as best I can, because I know many, right, who are suffering, and I guess that's my mission, is to let them know, like, you don't have to. There's ways and means to get it. Like, if a fucking idiot like me can get out of it, so can you. But there's no poof magic wand or any of that. I mean, there's a moment where there's a little bit of magic, and that first one where the decision is really made, that I'm fucking done with that, no matter what. Um, and but that can come and go as well. But it doesn't just. I mean, it's addiction, just like any other disease, which it is, and we'll talk more about that, or probably have plenty of debate in the future. A lot of semantics there, but the bottom line is, whatever you box it in as, like any disease has a treatment plan. You know, if you're like diabetic, like, don't eat chocolate, right? That's a start point. Or exercise or diet. I mean, there's things that you have to do to be successful, and whether it ever goes away or you get cured or not, I don't know. Don't get me started on big pharma. Last I checked, I'm not sure if they actually cured anything, but they sure make a lot of fucking money, right? Keeping us healthy enough. Anyway, stories for another day, right? So there you go. More will be revealed through this process. I see a couple watchers, pretty light, but it is the lunch break, right? So I don't know. People are doing shit and all that. If you're in here, um, I appreciate you being here live. If you are catching this late, obviously I appreciate you doing that too and going through it. And like I said, this is gonna every day, noon. We'll be here. And you can follow up anytime, and I hope you do. And there's ways and means and mechanisms to get in touch with me even after the fact, because I'm looking for ideas, right? I can ramble on for hours, and if any you actually know, I got like a double neck mouthpiece, and I can just roll and just, especially topics that I'm passionate about, which is this, right? Um, or we could talk metal for hours, or we could talk about stupid shit like Blondie's greater than Slayer. Seriously, bro? Seriously? Blondie? I mean, she's history. She's awesome, but Slayer? Come on. Anyway. um, but yeah, it's that's the hope, right? We get more live stuff going on. I'll take phone calls. We'll do some of that stuff at some point too. Certainly the chat boxes. Feel free to jump in. So we're going to wrap this thing up for today. Again, appreciate all of you and appreciate this opportunity to be doing this. And again, we will be here on all of the social media platforms that I'm rolling on tomorrow at noon. So come check it out, share it, tell a friend. Again, that's how it gets built. You tell two people, they tell two people, they tell two people, and in a minute there's a million of us in here, and we're actually getting something done and moving a message around and helping people out. So I mean, that's really what we're looking to get to at the end of the day. All right, so tomorrow, deuces.